All right, are we live?
Like the corner of the two.
Call the meeting to order at 6:35. Lisa Gonzalez present.
Ryan Shopping, present.
Jessica Lynch present.
Suzanne Radley, present.
Marlies Tucker present.
And Cleveland here by audio.
All right, Ryan's gonna read our mission and vision.
Vision here, an inclusive community that nurtures how to think, not what to think, one child at a time. Our mission, this Discovery Charter School will foster in its students the passion and curiosity necessary for lifelong learning. Students will develop the ability to think critically, communicate effectively, and excel academically. Through an integrated place-based curriculum, our students will become stewards of their environment and community.
Wonderful. Our informational, I just wanted to highlight two things. We had the book, Mrs. Hurd had the book fair last week, and I worked the family night. It was really fun. There was a lot of families that came through. And then Mrs. Hanson did the nature night last night, and that was really fun too. Not as many families as we've had in the past, but I think there's just so much going on right now. But a lot of different nature people came out and brought their bugs, and it was fun. So thank you to both of them for being amazing and doing good stuff. Financial report.
Okay, hi everyone. We finished the 9th month of our current fiscal year and had a pretty spectacular month again. For the month of March, which I'll go into a little bit, we had a surplus of almost $141,000, quite unusual. Breaking that down a little bit, our revenue was over budget for the month. It's just the month of March, $140,000, which is about our surplus. And that was due to, I think we discussed last meeting in our deep dive into the basic grant. Our basic grant is up about $27,000 over what we budgeted for these last 4 months. And PAC has been extremely efficient and awesome in the last couple periods. Donating over budget $67,000 in PAC and Dow contributions in the month of March. 67,000 over 4,000 budgeted, so PAC's been awesome this year. Also, we have so the basic grant, PAC is 60-something, over is all over budget. Basic grant about 30,000 over budget. We got a nice insurance rebate due to our audit we had in our workman's comp of 11,000. So you see our insurance expenses actually a credit this year, this month. So that's it. We have a spectacular month. So consequently, for the 9 months ended March 31st, we had a surplus of $199,000 over a budgeted surplus of about $29,000. So we're looking good going into the last 3 months of the fiscal year. Again, I would highlight in the revenue for the 9 months year to date, we're over budget in revenue, meaning we received more than we budgeted, $553,000. Okay, about half of that is this basic grant adjustment, which we went over last week, based on our two actual counts of September and February. So what we're doing this year is enjoying an unprecedented 30-something increase in our ADM, what we refer to our student count. So that's what we're enjoying this year. And also, again, we mentioned of PAC, the Dow proceeds and PAC contributions for the 9 months ended March 31st, $142,000 over 36 that we budgeted because we needed to fill that revenue piece, if you recall. So,
Ellen, do you have like the rough numbers for Dow, like what the profit was?
No, but
I thought it looked like it was 45,000 from the stuff that
yeah,
was sent.
45,000 was what sponsorships.
No,
Donations and sponsorships, 45. Yeah, donations and sponsorships, 45 and 13.5. That's what we received in Not in March, another month. So, anyway, PAC has contributed to our surplus to the tune of $142,000, which is over budget, over what we budgeted. That's it. We can just-
Could you ask Kiki if she can get us the breakdown for what Dallas brought in today? Because that's separate than PAC now. That's like the board stuff.
Well, it's on the financials, so it's 45 and 13 is both, is Dow's contribution to the revenue for the year, $60,000.
So that's the profit though, like minus all the expenses?
She sent me the development account as of March 15th. It was 31,000. I don't know if I have a recent one beside that.
Don't you just give us a net?
Yeah, that's
Don't
Yeah, the
the
expenses
expenses
don't come
out
out
of
of
the
the main
contribution?
account.
No, but they are all coming out now. Like everything, because it's not PAC, it's the board, so we switched it to a separate account.
Okay, right.
Yeah, we added our account to the Greater Giving website.
Right, so
which is what it
everything's
all
going
filters
through.
through.
Right, okay, so we can do that, sure.
Yeah, so I have like a rough estimate, I just don't know my estimate. but-
Okay, all right. Yeah, if it's separately accounted for, we can do that.
I saw that, because I think she sent, I was copied in that email too, but I just don't know if that was.
So she sent me a breakdown board fund, general ledger, and it's at 45,402.
So that would be the profit, right? Because we didn't have anything left in there. Which is
Yeah, because it's
pretty,
the county line deposit, Dow supplies and all stuff coded together.
and it looked like the expenses were taken out, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay.
Minus any lingering ones that would have still been part of petty cash or reimbursements after this was posted.
Teacher times and stuff, okay, so that's really good. So we'll probably end up right around 48,000 for that, because I'm still waiting on a couple checks to come in.
Wow, the worst night of the year,
Where's my idea? Was the best night left?
right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's basically it, and payables, to circulate, there's no questions, again, we're headed into our last stretch, 3 months of the fiscal year, in excellent shape. It's important that we have a surplus at the end of the year, and we're good to go. The budget is essentially done. We should have a finance committee meeting to do a deep dive into that, before it's presented to the board, and we have some adjustments to consider, obviously.
When did the budget need to get to the board?
Well, I'm wondering if we should talk about it sooner than later, because we need to figure out various positions and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some justice that needs to be
Yeah.
seen. I'm thinking in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. I can.
They should be able to present it on the agenda for the May meeting.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I wonder if we could,
I'll send an email to the members of the finance committee if we can come up with it, take the time.
I wonder if we'll need to have a special,
We may.
because we'll just need to get the budget as soon as possible, up, so we know how much money we have to work with for extra positions to post for.
She said something today, so
What's that?
she said something today, maybe late today. The salary breakdown and the effects of changes that we know are going to be implemented.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
That was just late today. so-
Okay. So we'll play that by ear, but we might have to have a special session after you guys meet. Yeah. Okay. Any questions about the financial report? A motion to approve the consent agenda then.
I'll second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Kelly, did you say aye?
Sorry, I got it, yeah.
All right, so the consent agenda is approved. Any public comment? No. All right, no public comment. Items for discussion, strategic planning. Finally, we're having our strategic planning session on Saturday. So Joe's wants to charge us $150 for the room this time.
I think they charged us for the room last time.
I don't think they did because they said if we bought the pizza, then they weren't gonna charge us, but if we brought in food.
It's crazy. Let's just buy some food.
So should we just do breakfast and have it?
Yeah, let's just.
Okay, so we'll just do that. Does that sound good? Yeah. No, because this time they didn't offer that, I asked that, so. Okay, so we'll move that session to here. You guys want to just meet in the teacher's lounge?
This Saturday?
Yeah, okay.
What did we say, like 8:30?
Yeah, 8:30 to noonish.
And I'll be available till 10, when we've got soccer, so.
And then you won't have to bring anything.
No.
Annual report. So me and Miranda met, and we went over what we want to include in it. Sorry, Kelly, if I send you. So tell me if we're missing anything here. So we're gonna include when Discovery started, when it ended, positions added in 22, 23, and I'll get to you what we want you to do. Projects completed this year. We had the barn, picnic tables, bathroom, painting upstairs, parking lot, flooding issue, the LED lights. Jamie's gonna put together how many hours that we had kids on the trails, volunteer hours, total salaries paid, what our diversity looks like here, zip codes represented. Mrs. Herr is gonna try to get a number of how many books were checked out in the library. We're trying to put some fun stuff in there too, so it's not just, you know, how many people attended the gala, and how many people bought tickets, because those numbers are very different. A note from the superintendent, a note from me, our probably new mission and vision. Let's see. Extracurriculars, how many we have, how many staff members we have had that have been here from the beginning. And then kind of breaking up the budget a little bit, how much money came from the state, how much money, and we'll need your help with this probably, how much money came from grants, how much money came from fundraising, and then what our total revenue is, and then for spending, how much of that was wages, how much was that was benefits, debt service, utilities, and then other. Anything else that you guys could think of to add in there?
The sponsorships we put back in the community.
Oh, you know, so I have that on, I did have that, but it's on my list.
And I feel like there was something else I thought of while I was driving, but I can't think of it now. So
You could tell me, and we could add it. And if anybody thinks of anything too, and then I was gonna send a letter out to the teachers, or email out to the teachers, seeing if there was anything to highlight, that they wanted to highlight, so we could kind of highlight stuff for each month. I don't know what it's right now. But I did have that.
You do number of 8th grade graduates.
We have that too. It's in here, I don't know where though. So yeah, if you guys think of anything, send it my way. We're hoping to have a rough draft by the May meeting. And then, so it won't be like a full year really, but like a school year, I guess, with a couple extra months. And then we'll maybe send it out to families like the beginning of June, middle of June. Does that sound great? Great. And then the executive director hiring process. So we'll meet after and kind of nail that down a little bit. We do have a pretty defined job posting. We just need to square it up a little bit. That we've all reviewed. It'll be posted on all the websites that those types of jobs are posted on. And I don't know, do we want to like do the paper? Like, I don't know if people post, like read the job postings and
LinkedIn maybe.
like, but it's not like anywhere, like the papers or anything anymore, right?
I would think so.
Okay,
They do, I mean, I'm not saying
yeah,
we should, but
so
I
we
think
get,
that exists still.
so we have decided to go with an executive director. So we'll do an executive director, position that will look a lot like Ernesto's current position. Anything else anybody wants to say on that? And then the rest of the structure will be based on what our budget looks like and where we could fill positions based on finances. So more to come on that. The board self-assessment, I'm just keeping it on here but tabling it because I have no brain power to put into that right now. The climate survey results, I was hoping that we would have, you didn't see it come today.
No.
I was hoping we would have the results to share with everybody today, but we did not get them. But they should be here any day because on Sunday he told us a couple of days. So as soon as we get those, we will share them at the next meeting. Working groups. I wanted to talk a little bit about our current working groups. And if we wanted to talk about, if we wanted to, I know we had talked a little bit about policy and possibly adding a staff member to that. Do we want to talk about adding staff members to our other working groups? And some, just for feedback and,
I think that's a good idea. Creates ownership and additional feedback and perspective.
so, do we want to vote on that? Like add a staff member to all of our working groups?
I'll move that we
What
add.
about confidential information? Is that what we need? How does that gonna work?
What do you mean, like finance stuff? I mean, I feel like they have to,
We can talk about it.
yeah, I mean, we
need
could
to talk about
sign,
it.
Adding staff members to every working group?
Why specifically was thinking some of the, whatever's confidential, I guess, I thought.
the only one that would be confidential stuff is finance.
Right.
And that one I was kind of iffy if we really needed a staff member on that one. So maybe do development, policy, D&E, and discover our world when we have it. So you want to make a motion to add a staff member to the working groups minus finance?
That's what I will do.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Kelly, are you still there?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, good. Okay, so we will work with you to figure that out. It might be tricky because of our timing situation. I know development, we already have Jen on. So we'll figure that out. Okay. Staff appreciation. Do we want to do, like last year we did donuts? Do we want to do something?
Did they like donuts?
Is
Whatever they like.
Outside, when we did that was the barbecue evening. That was like the first day of school.
Yeah.
Oh. Or day before, first day of school.
Cookies, something. We can figure out what to do. Okay. All right, so we'll do that. Okay, matters for approval. So we need to make it official that Ernesto isn't going to renew his contract. I don't know what the correct motion is here, but because you're not resigning, Billy, right?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything necessarily that needs to be approved.
I feel like we do though because it's a position.
I mean, I guess
Monica's
if
always done.
you all need to approve that you're shifting from the superintendent role to the executive director, then maybe that's the approval that you need.
I think we just accept that you aren't renewing the contract. That's what I would say.
Okay, I like that. All right,
I'll make a motion to accept that Ernesto decided not to renew his contract.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion approved. Who said that?
I'm sorry.
The cleaning service.
Yes, the information is in the folders. So we sent out, I think it was 12 to 15 different companies. They came back at last week's office meeting. We all sat down and discussed and scored them on a rubric. And so those quotes that we did end up receiving were from the cleaning niche, Brico Services, Beeline, and the Clean Team. The final scores of the rubric were 75 for cleaning niche out of 100, 70 points for Brico, 100 points for Beeline, and 60 for the Clean Team. So based on, we did do follow-up reference check for the cleaning company, for Beeline, I'm sorry, since that was the highest point, and nothing but positives. So based on how we all felt and based on the references, proposals, I would recommend that we go with Beeline for cleaning services beginning July 21, 2023. What they sent was a 3-year contract, if you look at it. So the price does increase slightly for year 2 and year 3, but still the best option from what we used.
I had a question about the rubric you use. Only because the prices vary wildly in some of these quotes. So Beeline was on the higher end. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but, right, so they have a cost of 40 points out of 40 on your rubric where, you know, one of the lesser expensive had a lower points earned. How'd you guys kind of determine that?
Do you mean lesser overall?
No, just in the,
Just
you know,
in
so they
that
are
line.
broken down in the kids. I guess the category didn't quite make sense to me, and I just want to kind of understand the rubric a little bit better.
So the first option on the Brico, they were awarded 40 points for cost. I believe their monthly was less than Beeline's.
By like 80%, right? I think Bryco was suggesting around $6,000 a month, and I have no clue what the cost,
Yeah.
what the right cost is.
Sure, and so it's a subjective, and so we had a discussion, I think the consensus was that Beeline's quote was less than what we were currently paying.
Okay, so that's how you,
The group felt a full 40 points was warranted for Beeline.
okay. Okay,
I had a question, why was it coming up each year? Because they're expecting like
Cost increase.
cost increase. But if their cost doesn't increase, my cost just increase.
Is any industry not gonna see a cost?
Okay, perfect.
oh, yeah, that'll be our cost, that's
Right.
all. So.
Is there a way to negotiate with them, like
Can we
the,
send a counter proposal, or?
I mean, we could try, or if we just wanna say we just wanna do a 1-year contract just to see.
That's.
But I would have to look at it again, and maybe part of their reasoning for having a lower price is for the 3-year guarantee also, which is sometimes typical for the industry too. So if you sign for 3 years, they scale it so you get a lower cost in that first year.
Maybe get a comparison. Just ask them. But I guess since it's new, 3 years is a long time. If
Yeah.
I'm not liking it.
yeah, I was.
Yeah, so I can ask them, if we wanted to go for a 1 year,
Yeah.
just to make sure before we lock in for 3 years. what
Because
their-
$300 isn't crazy per month, but then over the course of the year, that's. Yeah.
Okay.
Or we'll sign with them if they want to bring their 2 and 3 year price down a little bit, like for the 3 years.
So pending the various responses, where do we land on, are we gonna table this then for May?
When do you have to know by?
No, I mean, are we waiting until May then to make a decision based on their response, I guess?
Is there a
Like, is
explanation
that
on the
okay,
quote?
like, is,
Yeah, I mean, I can.
when is
tell them the
maintenance
situation.
through the end of the year?
Yeah, cleaning is just with us through,
Yeah, so as long as we're not like pressed for time,
Okay.
I would think, I would prefer to do that.
okay. So I'll update everyone on the main, that main meeting.
Advisory committee. So I talked to Lori Motz and Linda. When they left the board, they were interested in starting an advisory committee, and then COVID and everything happened and it's just been busy. But I did reach back out to them because I feel with all of the changes that we have going on, it would be good to bring back, and make sure that we stay focused on why Discovery was started and our original mission, vision, all of those good things. And then after talking with Ernesto a little bit, he thought that it would be a good idea to maybe bring some teachers on board that were here from the beginning as well. So I'm gonna meet with Lori and Linda next Wednesday evening and kind of see what they were thinking. I know Linda had like it all written out when she left, but it was a while and she like laughed and mentioned that. So I'll meet with them and then from there, like whatever they were thinking, maybe reach out to some staff members who might be interested and then hopefully get that started maybe by the end of this year, like maybe meet in the summer a couple of times they can. So they're ready to go for the start of the next school year. If that sounds good with everybody. I'll motion to approve to start an advisory committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
You're like the lead, Kelly. All right, the advisory committee is approved. Admissions policy and civility policy. Did you guys all have time to read those over?
So the working group met, the admissions policy, there was one or two semantical changes, nothing that changed the content of anything, just cleaning up some typos. And the civility policy, we did not change anything. And so one of the things that we've done as the working group is created a spreadsheet listing all of our policies. And that way we can get into a cycle of revisiting and making sure they're current and there's not a change that we want to make. And then also in the documents, we added kind of a heading with the name of the policy, date of approval, just kind of clean things up a little bit.
We'll put them all in a binder too, so there's a hard copy in the office once as they're reviewed. And then for next month, we are going to look at possibly making a policy on admin hiring because we don't have one currently. And we talked about whether that needs to be a policy or procedure type thing. So we are going to look at some. I know Ernesto has looked at some, and then we'll have that for you guys at the next meeting. Any questions, comments with those two policies? Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the admission policy and disability policy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, so the admissions policy and disability policy is approved. So do you want to put them on school letterhead and then we'll print them out and get those started? And then we can go sign them when they were approved.
Yeah, I'll add some short lines at the bottom, full documents.
And then the school report.
Enrollment as of last week, I think that was Thursday, 561. Some of the outstanding items that have been worked on, the front door entry's finished. We are waiting on the door wraps from Largus. And then also an additional light to go on the outside of the new doors. Because we discussed with them if it was possible to have the door wrap on both sides, but then it blocks the view from the inside looking out. So the key is to make sure that the light on the outside is brighter than the light on the inside. So we're gonna add additional light in there. And that entryway's kind of dim anyway.
I would like to state in fairness to Largus, you're waiting on Joe to correct his artwork dimensions.
He made it sound like he was done and he was sending it to them.
He did send it.
Oh,
He has
okay.
to like redo the dimensions or something.
Okay. Student fees, the board sent out some additional email reminders. I think since that email went out, I've seen 4 payments come through. So that is still something that needs to be looked at. The exterior lights have been converted to Ellis, but I'm noticing that for whatever reason, some of the outside parking lot lights are
Can I
not on.
also make a comment? Those ones are yellow and those ones are white. And that is my pet peeve. Can I fix it?
I would have noticed if you
I
said
agree.
it.
I don't think that, it's terrible.
So those are yellow and those are white?
The ones like in that, like the pretty cute ones.
Oh, the ones up front, well, they're completely different lights too.
But could they put like a white bulb in them instead of the yellow? I know it sounds stupid,
Oh,
but
LED. Okay,
it makes a difference.
I will explore that.
That's in the parking lot.
Yeah.
This is going to the notes. It's gonna be-
No, the parking lot ones are great. They're
I
like.
mean, they probably
really
came
bright.
that way, so.
But like the ugly poles that were replaced, like the one that fell in Pamela, those ones are yellow. They look great, but they're yellow. Which I don't care, these ones could be yellow, but I feel like those ones would be easier to replace.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna come at a cost.
They should have done it all the same. They could take their light bulbs back.
I mean, they're LED lights, I don't know if you just swap
Alright, well,
built-in fixtures.
let's look into it. Alright, my only complaint.
So I included some pictures from the camera at night to kind of show you the differences. Picnic tables have been installed. The support brace that goes along the bottom that they sent are the wrong size, so the new size arrived today. So we'll work on getting those bottom braces attached. We purchased some additional sails for the lunch area, and then with the wind this past weekend, one of the posts snapped. So we will be looking at getting those posts replaced, one or possibly checking the quality of all of them. Landscaper cleared out that space over here, added the gravel and cleaned up that ditch. We're still seeing some of the flooding because again, the angle of the parking lot, so it pools kind of in that 4th, 5th, 6th parking spot. So we'll keep an eye on it, and if need be, we'll keep reaching out. The person we had lined up is no longer available to possibly cut in and allow that water to drain to the ditch. But as a temporary fix, we could get a water pump transfer. And then when it does flood, just by hose, move it over to the ditch. Be a couple $100 just for that situation. Cleaning services request we already spoke about. The lunch RFP has gone out. We've got a couple of responses, one which was odd because they're like a tech company. But nonetheless, there is some interest there. Chromebooks, so at Sal's site visit last week, in looking at some of the devices, 141 Chromebooks are experiencing some battery expansion, which is not uncommon. It doesn't always happen. But from talking with him and what he explored, it kind of happens in batches, and sometimes those batches end up being recalled. The batch that we purchased, they're 4 or 5 years old. They're not currently on recall, but we can replace the batteries. So Matt and Levco have purchased new batteries. So for the time being, those devices have been pulled off the carts because it's the charging cycle. So essentially a battery has so many charging cycles. And after it hits that point, sometimes that's the result of the battery expansion. So once those are in, we will schedule for Sal to be out and start swapping those out. We'll probably also arrange for Mrs. Frankowski to have a sub for a day or two, depending on how long it's gonna take. That way she can assist Sal with that. I-Learn began this week. After just the first 3 days, we had 70-some math makeups only, so we'll work on those math makeups tomorrow. ELA will start on Friday, and we'll continue on for the next couple weeks. The mission working group worked on a revised mission statement there. We did put the surveys out for feedback. I shared the feedback with Mrs. Welling, we spoke about it. She's got a meeting set with that working group to kind of review some of those comments and feedback. And decide if there's any additional changes they want to make before we share or formally propose it to the board. So likely in May, we'll bring that to the board. And then Mrs. Willett.
Well, we have professional development, there's nothing new. I learned there's a little bit of data there for 2nd and 3rd grade of what the passing percentage was and then what our STAR predicted. And then our students that are on track and what the STAR predicted. Those are pretty someone for second grade. Again, second grade, 62 of the second graders passed, or was it 62%? 62%, I think.
61% star predicted, 69%.
Well, how many, okay, so yeah, 61% passed, which is a huge number, I think, for second grade. So there's some numbers there to look at. The curriculum, we're still working on picking the final.
Can I ask for 1 second? For the IRE testing, I saw some schools had posted, like, the kids that got perfects on them. I was wondering if maybe we could highlight if any of our kids got a perfect score. Or if you got and one of the newsletters.
Yes, yes.
Maybe we could make a post about it, on the test return page. If you put it together, I can send it over there.
Perfect, okay.
Isn't there
4?
So
So,
the 61%,
Second grade.
second grade.
and that was the I read.
Math, we're still working on the top 3. I know, I have a time set up on Monday at 10 for, the working group that has questions, and then we'll narrow it down to the final pick. Science, we're still reviewing options. Place-based, sustainability, nothing to report. I also wanted to mention, I don't know if you mentioned it, the middle school survey. We got back from parents and students, and I have a meeting set up with the middle school team to go over those.
I didn't see the results. Did you not put them in yet?
It's in there.
Oh.
I think it was middle school summary, I think is what it was titled.
Special events, VIP day, May 4th, graduation, we're starting to get that finalized. Field day, the 19th of May. Our learning experiences for March, 6th grade to Bradford Woods, 2nd grade to Maple Sugar Times at Shelburne Farms, and then 1st grade to the Challenger Learning Center for their Moon and Planet unit. Miss Medley, our social worker, she's working on social emotional learning. The topic is sensory motor. Finishing up Too Good for Drugs for 5th grade. Placement tests and teacher recommendations for students going to CHS. She did that testing last week. Student prevention for middle school on April 11th and 14th was done. Miss Ashley, which is her intern, last day is Monday. We're sad to see her go. Discipline reports is...
Before you do that, I'm sorry. Can you make sure that the kids that aren't going to CHS are getting some kind of email that they should be checking in with their schools about placement testing?
Yes. I'm gonna check if there's discipline. After school detentions for elementary in March were 11 and middle school 9. In-school suspensions for elementary was 2, middle school 3. Out of school for elementary was 12. Out of school for middle school 2.
Those elementary kids.
That's a good one.
In February.
Today was busy.
And elementary though, right?
It was all over the board today. But yes, but there's a bigger pool of kiddos in elementary. So yeah, that's about all I have. Any questions?
Thank you guys. Working groups development. We have our kids day out on Saturday, or Sunday, from 12 to 3 in Valpo, or 11 to 3. If anyone wants to come, we're gonna be making birthday beers.
The supplies went out.
Okay, good.
This Saturday?
This Sunday.
This Sunday.
In Valpo. Yep. What else? We have the billboards that will be being redone, and the Chesterton board that will be being redone.
So Lakeshore PBS reached out wanting
Oh, yeah.
to know if we'd be interested in them doing a feature spot for Discovery. So the gentleman is coming next Wednesday at 10 to meet with Deb and I to talk about it. We'll go from there.
That's great.
Yeah. Be fun. And I think that's all we have going on right now. Finance, we talked about already a little bit. You guys will meet soon. Policy, we talked about. D&E, they said that they were gonna have a meeting date for us today, but neither one of them were able to make it. So hopefully, we'll have a meeting date soon, and then, we did talk about making sure that it's ramped up and ready to go for the next or for the next school year. So everybody's on board with that. And then, once we set up a meeting, then some staff will be included, I think we talked about, and, parents and possibly students. And pack update, Miranda's not here, so we'll leave that alone. The next meeting, the 17th at 6:30 of May. May 17th at 6:30. And recognition, I have a lot, so if anybody has anything, they can go first. Okay. So I wanted to thank Nadia and Jeff Wendt. They provided the financing to cover all of the tables and stools and benches in here. So that was a nice bonus sponsorship. And then the Blumenthal's are giving a generous sponsorship to the development fund that should be coming in next week. Mr. Floyd, I wanted to acknowledge him because he was picked as Teacher of the Month for, what's that law group? Ken Allen's law group that was posted on social media.
Can I add to this? He did a great basketball camp again.
Was it
For the kids.
He's doing so many camps.
It's just, yeah, people going in and the other middle schoolers to some things on the campus, so.
He's been busy.
Busy man.
My next thing was whoever went on all the overnights, because I know that is exhausting for our staff. Lisa Hurd, that did the book fair, all of our play sponsors, for sponsoring our musical, Mr. Mueller and his team for the fantastic musical that we had. And that's all we got. Oh wait, no, one more. Angie Jans Davis, because she helped me bring all the computers upstairs from downstairs where all the tech stuff
So they were
was.
gone.
And
Good deal.
clear that out, and it is now all being recycled, all of the electronic. There was cords, computers, tablets, all the things. She took them to a place in Michigan City that was
That's
computers.
nice. You can just take all your stuff and dump it in the trailer.
Porter County has one too.
That's what.
Yeah. So,
Love that place.
all right, and we'll adjourn at 7:17. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks, Kelly.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lisa, I emailed you a copy of another